right. Hello, Libra. I hope everybody's doing fantastic. Really looking forward to today's messages. Thank you for being patient as I finished up with all the channeling and getting the deck selected and all of that fun stuff. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This little assistant here is Apollo. He's given everyone some love. And we're going to be taking a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks, focusing specifically on December, but a lot of these channeled messages will be relevant right here and right now. I'm going to put him down so he can get back to his ever important napping, and we're going to get started. Again, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're looking at Libra. You can use this for sun, rising, and moon. And you can also watch it for any sort of aspect of your chart that you happen to know. I welcome anybody to show up that just needs messages as well. I'm clairvoyant in the very beginning portion of all these readings. Typically contain messages for whoever need them, okay? So let's chat a little bit about format, and then we'll get into the reading today. The way that I organize this is in a few major parts. I begin with the channeled messages, which are in front of me. A lot of times they come through dreams. They can also come through meditation, writing, and the research that I do as well. And so it's a combination of that today. The next portion I'm going to look at for you is the Celtic Cross. The Celtic Cross, of course, we're all familiar with. That's going to give us additional insights into what we can focus on and if there's any challenges en route. I let that take whatever form it needs to, because our month ahead, our overall sort of growth, it's not just about a relationship or a job. It's also about us and where we're at. So the cards meet you where you're at. And then we'll take it a little bit into some different areas when I go into the expanded forecast, which is health, wealth, love, and destiny on the side. That way we can focus on things that I know everybody cares about. After we do the expanded forecast, I pulled usually a card that I call the big idea. It's kind of like a North Star that will help us focus on what we need to be looking at. And then we'll get into an exciting part where we look at blessings and blocks, because every single month contains some things that we are going to celebrate and some things that we have to work on. So we'll reveal a little bit of both at that portion. Then I will throw a question out to you, usually about 3 that you can pick, that you can vote on, things that I'm curious about, but I really want the reading to be something that everyone enjoys. So I'll allow you to vote on your favorite. And then I'll pick one that I like, and I'll do a reader's choice while you're doing the viewer's choice. I always like to close my readings with a meditation, and then I'll do a final card. And the final card can be a question that you meditate on that you have for me that I'll pull a card on. And so it's a collective question that we all sort of think of at once, and I'll pull a single card to answer the overall energy. And that is the format. So let's get into this. Maria Margarita will be the moderator today. So if you have any questions, she can point you in the right direction. And of course, I've already seen we've had some new members, so I'd like to say welcome. If you'd like to join and become a member, you can actually do that by clicking on this icon right next to the smiley emoji there. Actually, I forgot to turn on my lights, so I'm going to turn on my Christmas trees, which I have in the background while I'm doing all of this. I'd also like to say there's some membership opportunities that all of you can enjoy, which are being able to vote on the weekend. Whenever I have Q&As, which come every time there's a milestone, or whenever I do a weekend reading, I really solicit the input from all of you. So I'll give you 5 to vote from. So that's one thing that you can focus on. And the other thing that I want to, there we go, we can turn those on. Let's see, all on. Got the trees on. That's very important. Let me see if I can get the rest of them on in the background. There we go. Let's see, all on. Okay, yes, I actually have a remote here. So there you go, the trees are on. I also wanted to say, if you wanted to give back and say thanks, you can do that right here. And if you want to join me on social media, you can do that by clicking on a link that I'm going to post in just a second. I always put my handwritten notes on social media so that you have those as well. And a great way to just show your support is to do a thumbs up and to subscribe. So thank you so much in advance. We've got our lights all turned on right now. Now we can get into the important portion, which is the channel messages for you. Okay, so let's talk about what came to me this morning as I was starting to meditate on Libra. And I think it's the first time in a while anyway that I've connected with this symbol. It can either be called a caribou or a reindeer, which is a sort of more common term. Beautiful animal. Basically, it's a type of deer that lives in colder climates, just like we would expect here, and just really, really gorgeous. We're going to talk about this in a second, but both the male and female in the species can actually grow antlers, which is kind of unique. And we're we're going to talk about the importance of the antlers growing and being shed, because that's really showing that there's this cycle that's going on for everybody, but specifically Libra. I feel like you're kind of at a precipice, and I see a couple of portals opening up, and it's really up to you how and when you want to connect with that. So I really think that reindeer is almost only used in North America. As I was doing research, caribou is the term, I think, across the larger world. So when I say reindeer, I mean caribou. I was trying to combine both words there. As I said, both of the male and females in the species can actually grow antlers, but the male can reach about 51 inches, which I did the calculations, about 1.3 meters in length. And that's pretty darn long, isn't it? So that's impressive. The males in the species actually drop their antlers in November, meaning that through most of the winter season they're without. The females keep them until May, until they have their calves. This does call into question if the in legend here, where the reindeer lead the sleigh, they should be women if they have the antlers, right? So interesting little tidbit there that whoever was kind of thinking of that myth may not have thought it all the way through. The cool thing is that antlers come back. Unlike horns, antlers are something you shed and then you grow again. A renewal symbol is what I really like with this. So the males regrow theirs in February and the females regrow theirs in May. So what we're looking at right now, particularly for Libra, if we kind of take the energy of the November, the sort of shedding, is that some of you may be at a point in your life where you've made a decision and you're going to step through this portal right now and go into change, go into sort of like the unknown, which is exciting, which can also be a little bit frightening. But the cool thing here is that whatever has been lost can be found. Any resources that have been shed can be regenerated. And that's really what we're looking at here. Obviously, not everything in life that is lost can be regenerated or found again. But the recreation energy here is what we're looking at, the ability to take something and start it. And maybe it's better than or equal to what you had before. So you're at that doorway. Are you ready to step through, or are you holding back a little bit? The reason I didn't get a chance to go this deep into it, but I'm assuming part of the reason that the female may keep their antlers is just for protection too, while they're waiting for their calves to be born. But sometimes we're protecting or we're holding on to something because we're not quite ready, or we want to finish something up. We want to birth something. So I see the two portals for you being there's a shedding point here. So some of you are already stepping into that sort of shedding of a part of yourself. So it could be happening right here, right now in November, maybe early part of December. Some of you may be holding off until May. The cool thing is that both male and female tend to regrow their antlers around the same time. It's between February and May. So it's springtime is when we're really looking at a period of growth for you, no matter what. But if you start sooner, then you can start to rebuild sooner. So I think it's really up to you. I see a couple of periods of growth. There may be things that you have to sacrifice or release, but because of the totem and because of the way that it works, this will come back. This will regrow. The interesting thing here, if I had to kind of like sum up what this season of your life is about, it's to rediscover lost pieces of yourself, like lost and found, right? And I think that if you think of it this way, it can actually be fun. I'm going to skip around on my cards here. If we think of the word this, it can be recreation or recreation. Recreation, of course, just depends on the stressing of the syllables. Recreation is having fun. If you are recreating something, you are deciding to build it again. So why can't it be both? Why can't the act of, if there's something that we have to do again or rebuild or renew, why can't this period of renewal be fun? Sometimes we look at the changes that are necessary and it can feel sort of overwhelming, right? It's sort of, you look at it and you think, oh, I'm so comfortable right here. Sometimes it's because of the money that you're receiving at a job. Sometimes it's because of the comfort that you have by being in a relationship. Sometimes it's because of the predictability of a schedule or a living situation. And if you had to somehow upend that and kind of like uproot yourself, there is that sort of exposed energy that you would think of with the male caribou that have no antlers in December and January, right? So, but if they didn't do that, the reason, by the way, the next year the antlers are bigger. So if they were to hold on to the old ones, those little baby ones that they had when they were, young, they would never be able to have the beautiful antlers. They wouldn't be able to spread their wings because the antlers are kind of like a metaphor for the wings. So oftentimes, to experience greater growth, we must leave, sacrifice, or release something that was comfortable, like a blanket that we kind of held on to, something that just felt like it gave us security. There's a bigger blanket, there's a bigger opportunity that awaits you. So for many of you, my question and my sort of message to you from the guides is, you have two chances, you have two opportunities. Do you want it to sort of get, if you look at it this way, do you want to get started sooner, or do you want to wait for the change and the opportunity and the growth and the abundance to happen? Because if you're willing to step into it now, then you're going to be ahead of it. We take the gender piece out of it and just look at the 2 periods. So again, some of you want to release your old path in November, and then that means in February, you're on a new path and the abundance is rolling in. So the rest of you are going to wait until like May, and that is going to take, it's going to take longer to get where you want to go. So you have 2 flights, one gets you there faster. Which one do you want to take? There's no right or wrong answer, because some of you may have unfinished business. Some of you may need more time to be at peace with whatever shifts or changes you want to make in your life. And you're an agent of your own free will. So do whatever you need to do, okay? The next piece that I want to talk about is, again, as I kept reading this, I'm like, I'm not trying to debunk the flying reindeer, but reindeer are covered from their nose all the way to their hooves because of the colder climates in which they live. And this also, the hair on the nose helped protect them so that they can put their nose in and smell things even in the snow. Being able to sniff things out, and in just everyday terms for you, this is really reading a person or reading a situation. You should be able to, quote unquote, sniff out if it's good or if it's something you should avoid. Trust your third eye, your heart, your head, your nose. It's leading you in the right direction. Your nose knows. Also, this was very fascinating. The reindeer typically will travel against the wind so that they can pick up the scent of food for themselves. So you may be asked right now to take a position, or you may be inspired to do something that's going to cause a few wrinkles, cause a little commotion. You're going to have to possibly go against the 6 of Wands, go against expectations or public opinion. Develop a thick skin. All the fur on these reindeer or caribou is basically saying, like, I'm gonna thicken my skin, my hide a little bit, and I'm gonna be okay energetically. I can take whatever's coming my way, and to be unbothered, unworried, and sort of strong enough to approach whatever it is that's in front of you is going to be important. Particularly if someone else isn't listening, you're going to probably have to repeat things or push in a different way. And we're going to get into this in a minute here as I go into some of the other messages. But we learned a lot from the caribou here, which is you are strong. These are a hardy animal, and you are able to regenerate. You're able to renew. And so this season for you is one of finding something and recreating something, and possibly having some fun while you're recreating. Okay, let's move into the next portion here. So I was actually getting an interesting sort of thing happening today where a bunch of images were coming to mind as I was meditating, kind of like tarot cards. And so I'm going to talk about them, and we'll go into this, because as you start to kind of work with your gift, sometimes you'll just start to see cards too if you read a lot. So this is what was happening to me. So the first thing that I tuned into was something akin to the 4 of Swords, which is your quality of sleep. Sometimes I can't really tell because I was just shown the image in my head. Some of you may be overworked, so you don't have time to rest. You're feeling guilty to take the time necessary for reading, or for sleeping rather. I would say make sure that you avoid burnout, rest and meditate. Sometimes when you can't sleep, maybe because you're so busy, maybe because there's a lot going on, it's okay to sort of just sit in bed and breathe and listen to some music, and just try to control even like the rhythm of your heart, the rhythm of your breathing, and just sort of paint a picture in your head. And if you're not, I know I've read the comments, a lot of you can't kind of imagine things sometimes. Not everybody gets images in their head. You can just listen to someone talking about something that you like, a book on, CD or MP3 or something. So you can just listen to an audiobook like Audible, something to kind of like allow you to just go away a little bit, meditate, or allow something positive to enter into your mind and your body and just relax a little bit, okay? So focus on sleep quality and quantity, but I would say quality is more important. You still need a certain amount. You're going to have to find that for your body. But that's so important. It's number one, because without that, I feel like it's like a house of cards, right? Everything starts to kind of fall apart. I want you to really pick your battles wisely. Think of the moon card when we're talking about this. Avoid distractions, because a lot of times this is a distraction. You could be doing something really great, know what you're supposed to be focusing on, and somebody could step in to try to take you off that path because they're either jealous or they just like kind of causing trouble. And what you have to figure out is this a battle worth fighting? Because the path at hand, this change, this opportunity, this expansion that awaits you really requires a lot of focus. So if somebody is just either annoying or unsupportive or unaware of how they're entering in your energy, it's best to move on. It's best to redirect or handle it quickly and say, I don't have time for this. And you'll find a nicer way to put it. You could just say, I'm really busy. How about we talk later, but I have to finish what I've started, and move on, basically. Also, if you find yourself in a situation where it's kind of like no win, we've all been there, right? It can be a job where your boss doesn't listen to you. It could be a friendship where someone just always has to be right, or they're not taking constructive criticism. Maybe you have a manager that refuses. I've had this even recently happen where someone says, I don't have to do it. And you think to yourself, you don't have to, you should. But if they don't want to do it, then you also don't have to stay in the situation. This could be the straw that, rather than breaking your back, it's sort of like this moment where things are released. It's the 10 of Wands moment that's going to allow you to move on to the next phase. Because that person couldn't carry one more stick on their back in the 10 of Wands. It is very much like a camel card. If you put one more thing, it's too much. So I think that if you've reached that breaking point, then it's a breakthrough. It doesn't have to be a breakdown. And you don't have to see like you're breaking. It's more like, oh, thank goodness, I know what to do now. And it's not to stay, or it's not to do this any longer. Work on what you can and focus on what you actually can control. So when you feel like someone won't listen or doesn't do the right thing, or you're hitting a figurative brick wall again and again and again, the universe couldn't be putting up any bigger of a representation that you're in the wrong path, you're on the wrong way. Like when you're in Europe and you see the big circle with the line through it, right? Like it's sort of like, don't go here, stop. Wrong way, you have to go somewhere else. So move into a new trajectory. Focus on what you can control. What is going to be more reciprocating of your energy. So this trajectory is so important to you. And I think what we forget is sometimes if we can't go this way, we can go up, we can go that way. So go into possibly a place where you're even elevated in position or support. So just because you're stuck, it doesn't mean that that's the only way. Imagine that you were looking at the world in a two-dimensional view, kind of like the old Pong game, where you just saw those two lines and that little dot that moved between it, like on the original Atari. What we're really moving is into the 3, 4, 5D, where we're seeing all the options. And what if we were to see that there was much more than those two things? What do those two things look like? Can I go under it? Can I go above it? How large is this? So I want you to look at the block. How big is it? Are you making it out to be bigger than it is? Okay, because it's really just the universe saying, over here. So focus on what's beckoning to you, okay? Something else is calling in your energy. So the next thing here is kind of like reminiscent to me of the High Priestess in reverse, or maybe one of the Queen or King of Wands cards in reverse. I want you to listen to what's going on around you, and also read the signs. You are being guided to something else, even if it's through rejection. Rejection is protection, a different sort of protection from the universe. It's saying, we really don't want you to experience this, so we're going to stop it and hope that you go this way. Also, listen to what you want to do. Sometimes we just stick around in a situation, whether it's a relationship or a job, because we haven't thought, what else do I want? Or how else can I go about this? Or what else is out there? Or why am I doing this, right? We just do it because we were conditioned to do it. Maybe parents told you needed to get married by a certain age. Maybe society told you had to have a child to be happy, or that you have to get this career path to be accepted or to be successful. These are just projections and expectations. You get to decide what you want, and you get to sort of tune in and think, does this authentically feel like me? So this is a chance to get real with yourself right now. And, we're reading for December, and I'll do some special readings next month, closer to New Year's. But why not start to plant the seeds right now so that you can set the resolutions into place? Like I said, the sooner you start, the sooner you finish, the sooner you start to get to that, Ace of Pentacles that's awaiting you, right? All right. I would love for you to consider saying yes if somebody offers an invitation or a hand at something and saying like, "Hey, we'd like you to join," or "Would you be a part of this?" I felt like there could be some really cool things coming out of this, whether it's a friendship or a love situation or just a sort of like work connection. A lot of times you can go to a social engagement with friends, and from that, something new comes through. It's like, "Oh yeah, did you hear about it? Hey, aren't you looking for a job?" Or "Oh, you should meet such and such," and all of a sudden you hit it off with someone and you have a new friend or something more. So like Three of Cups reversed, though, it came through as this sort of hermiting energy for you. So don't be the hermit. This is a time of year because of all of the special occasions. New Year's being the one that we collectively experience, but of course, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, and all of the other holidays that I can't kind of put under the umbrella. All the things that are coming through, and then Thanksgiving and things like that. There's a lot to there's reasons to connect. Of course, we need to be smart because of the pandemic, but Three of Cups to me is not a large gathering. That can be one-on-one, that can be a couple of people, 2 or 3. So it feels like if there's a small connection and you need and want to sort of connect with them, this is the right time to do that. All right. What I also got here was sort of like, if you could sort of like put right on top of each other a combination of the Sun and the Emperor card. What it was telling me is that you can be you can be an old soul in a young body. You can also be an older person that has the energy of the Fool and sort of that excitement of life. So it's never too late and it's never too early. You're never too young. You're never too old to do the right thing and to do something that you're really passionate about. I've said this before, but spirit is not ageist. It doesn't look at how could it. Our soul is immortal. So as far as the powers that be are concerned, all they care about is are you on your right path? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? So if you do that at 9 or 99, it doesn't matter. Just it's not how you start or where you're at in the middle. It's how you finish. And so keep doing it. Keep doing great things. Keep finishing and starting again. Remember, recreating and recreating. That's basically what this period of time is all about. The moves at this period of time are supported. So think of the World card is really what I'm seeing here. So for many of you, this is a time for you to decide to expand, to do something new, to really go into a new path. You do not have time to spend it with people who seek to slow you down or box you in or prevent you. Limitations aren't really welcome in this period right now. So where the limitations exist, when someone says, "I can't," do they mean I can't or do they mean I won't? Particularly in, I can't find this extra money to give you the raise, or I can't commit to you right now, or I don't have time for you. Is it really that, or is it that I won't do it and I'm not ready to do it? So tune in, use your antenna, use your antlers to kind of tune in and think, where is this really coming from? What can I do? What do I want to do? I want you to feel very able and very much in control, even when other people are lacking the ability to take the initiative, okay? Happiness is a top priority for you. A big old Ace of Cups or Queen of Cups coming here at the end saying, this is important. I want you to look at 2022 and prioritize happiness and fulfillment. So we had a kind of different energy coming through today, some spirit totems, and then like some tarot totems that came to me for you. And those are the messages, okay? So if you missed anything, like I said, you can catch up on social media. Let me just post a link because I remembered I didn't do that. So if you want to find out more information about me, or if you want to look at my schedule, or look at any of these messages, I always put a copy on my website. I also will put it on social media, including Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and now I've actually started to post the image on Twitter as well. Twitter is the only title that has a little bit different here, a handle that's a little different. It's Ashbaugh everywhere else. It's just my name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. A reminder while I'm stacking up the cards, I never will contact you on social media. I'll never ask for something or offer something. There's a lot of people out there that take advantage of you and me. So let's not do that. The way that you can connect with me is right here and right now. So you can show support with super stickers and super chat. Anybody that does that, I'll say thank you at the end. And then these lives are a great way for us to interact. But I don't use chat. I don't use WhatsApp. Anybody that's trying to scam you in the comments or something like that, avoid it. I feel like I need to say it because I've seen more and more of that happening. So be smart. I'm not offering any readings right now to new clients. So anyone that's saying that you get a reading with me, that's not me. Okay. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the cards. If you just joined, perfect timing. We're going to be looking at the next 6 to 8 weeks for Libra, Sun, Rising, Moon, Venus. You can also watch for any aspect of your chart that you happen to know. I'm using a deck here that's kind of got nice forest imagery. It's not new, but I haven't used it in a while. It's Druidcraft. Takes a little bit of shuffling because they're bigger cards, but they're really beautiful. So I felt called to use this deck today. Normally I'll let you vote, but today I just knew that this was the right deck, so I chose it. There's the Three of Cups with some good news associated with it. So definitely yes on the RSVPs. For those of you asking if it's Apollo, no, he's sleeping. That's my neighbor's dog that barks in the background. Sometimes people think, oh, it's Apollo. No, he's a quiet little guy. All right. Okay, we got some beautiful cards, some beautiful symbols coming through for you. Thanks for giving me a chance to get everything set up. Let's walk through it. Okay, this is why I did want you to say yes to an invitation. So we have the kiss coming through here. So to me, this can be something really good news. For you, it doesn't have to literally mean like love, but it could. For many of you, this can just indicate like good news, someone who really wants to connect with you. Okay, it's like the Lover's card. And so for some of you, there's this opportunity to engage in something new, to connect with someone new. And there's someone who's interested in you, which is showing me that you have that lover's energy, which is, hey, pay attention to me. And I really want you to sort of embrace that if you're feeling open to that. The kiss can also be, to me, in the book that I wrote, I had death. That was basically how it would, the kiss of death. So basically, sometimes good news kind of comes packaged with that. It was bittersweet. So that's how death would transform a living being into something else. It would give it a kiss, and then the being would transform. So to me, this is also a transformation symbol because of the way that I interpret that. So if we can look at something that we want to let go and kind of blow it a kiss, right? And say, thank you. It's a gratitude sort of thing. Thank you for the experience that you've imparted on me. Thank you so much for the good. Thanks for even the stuff that I didn't like. And now I'm ready to move on. So for you, it can also be that kiss of transformation, a decision for you to sort of kiss something goodbye and also maybe kiss something hello. All right. So that gateway energy that I was talking about is definitely a part of this, but I get gratitude as a piece of it that maybe I wouldn't have seen otherwise unless I saw that card. All right, let's move on to your center card here. It was crossed by the Three of Cups, which is something that came to me in meditation. We have Prince of Swords, which I actually see as good news that's incoming. So for many of you, This is a time where you should expect it. By the way, just expecting it can actually manifest it. So this is a little tip. I want you to be focusing on it in November and December. This is for December, but many of you are with me watching this in mid-November. I want you to start to expect some good news, especially if you've been going through a difficult time of loss, of challenge, of frustration, etc. Think to yourself, I've earned it. I'm ready for some good news today. Please be the day I'm ready to receive that good news. And start to expect, maybe today, maybe it's going to happen right now. Maybe it'll happen sooner than I thought. So that's what I see for many of you. Your communication skills, of course, this is an aspect of you, Libra, but you are really nicely positioned right now to do well in public situations and negotiations. The one thing that you want to be careful of in the negotiations or any sort of situation is being mindful of cliques or gossip. I love the Three of Cups, but there can always be an undercurrent of sort of like, a clique or a elitist sort of energy. So you want to be very inclusive and you want to make sure that you're being as kind as possible. But you're going to be a social butterfly when and if you decide to go out into a social interaction. It's cool that we kind of use the word butterfly with that because that's transformative. So what you say and who you say it to could change your whole life. So be a social butterfly in that respect. Really spread your wings and show your true self. RSVP, yes, if there is some sort of a party invitation or, like I said, a small gathering. Through this, something really cool could happen. Whether it's the friendship or the opportunity or love, because we did get the kiss, I do see this being a good season and a good time for you to start to experience some joy. And I said happiness is key. So yes, if you're looking for love. If you're in a relationship, we'll talk about this more in a moment, but it could be important for you to connect with your peers as much as your love interest, because you might be missing that sort of like, you need a change, you need sort of some new energy in your life. So this can also just be friendship. We'll look at third parties here, but if there are any sort of third parties that are trying to get in between you and a friend or you and your love interest, you have the power here. You always have. So speak up, talk to your partner about it, talk to someone else about it. I'll focus more on love when I look at love, but I definitely see some third party energy coming in. Everything around this seems pretty good. So I don't always read that as negative. We didn't get the moon and we didn't get the devil. So sometimes a third party can just be another person coming in, offering another perspective. So be open to that perspective. Okay. Princess of Cups in reverse. So for some of you, as we're looking at the past couple of months, there's been a lot that you've been sorting out. And I feel like like I said at the middle, it's time for some good news, right? You've been carrying a lot, you've been dealing with a lot. Maybe you've even thrown yourself headfirst into something that you love. But in doing that, you can also find like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I lost myself a little bit. I need to find my footing. And this is a good time for you to do that, to come up for air. Because if we were to think of this card where she's just so underwater a little bit, she just needs to come up for air, ground herself a little bit, and figure out how much of this is what I'm feeling and how much of it is what you're projecting onto me. Libra, we can all sort of end up, and I say we because my son is in Libra, but so I'm speaking from experience here. We can sometimes be great listeners to a fault, to the point that sometimes we absorb the energy of people around us. So as a Libra, as an intuitive, as a coach, a lot of times what I have to do is to make sure that on a daily basis, I allow for a cleansing or a purging energy to get rid of that stuff. So I think for you, I just started meditating more frequently. Like I set my own sort of goal. I want to make more time each and every day because it allows me to have calmer sleeping periods, because otherwise I get a lot of messages. So if I meditate before I go to bed or in the middle of the day, like 2 or 3 o'clock, when everyone else is working and doing other stuff, I just kind of like calm down and listen. I'm happier. So maybe what you could do if you want to join in is to just set a little meditation challenge for yourself for the next month and try to do an extra 5 minutes, an extra 10 minutes, more if you're feeling like it. But sometimes I think we think that it has to be way too much. It doesn't. You can do 10 minutes each day, and that's going to bring so much opportunity to you. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, anything that you can spare. Do it while you're brushing your teeth. Do it while you're taking a shower. Do it while you're suffering insomnia, and just think, all right, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to focus on some things. I'm going to put some affirmative thoughts in my head. I'm just going to keep breathing and focus on the breathing until I feel calm. So it doesn't have to be going out into outer space. It can just be focusing on controlling your body a little bit. This can also be a calling for you to do something artistic. So pottery, painting, writing, dancing, singing, any one of those, and anything that I forgot, quilting, knitting, I don't care. Find a channel and let it just be for you. You know, you don't have to go out and professionally dance to have fun and learn how to, you know, tango or salsa or whatever. Do something because it's just making you feel better. Okay. You have my encouragement. You don't need my permission, but you have my encouragement to do that. Perspective shifting is going to be the key thing right now. See that ace that's hidden in the tree? There always is a hidden ace with the 4 of Cups. This could be love. This is for some of you that are looking for love. It's already within reach, but it might require kind of looking around a little bit more. What you're looking for may not come in the package that you think. A job, a friendship, a move, a house, a relationship. Something is kind of coming through and the universe says, you know what? I know what you're asking for, but I have an upgrade for you. I have something different. Are you willing to receive and see the upgrade? Hopefully you are. There could also just be a little bit of frustration. You're looking at friends and family members and thinking, how did they get that? Or why are they there? Or why is that happening for this person? Because I've been working just as hard. Again, there's a better opportunity. It may not be in front of you. It might require you to look around, to retrace your steps a little bit, but it's there and it's closer than you think. And that's the message from the 4 of Cups for you. We got our stag in this particular card, and you can see it right there. Beautiful Ace of Wands here. What we look at here is the fact that whenever we have to step into something new, sometimes there is a fear of, how am I going to get there? Sometimes the gap seems like it's too much. How can I get from here to here? What if you were to take the wand there and just walk across it? So what I'm telling you is that you probably have an easier way to do this than you think. And there's also, you could just go around and come up this way. It doesn't mean that you have to go across that deepest, darkest sort of part of it. I feel like there's always a way. There's always another way. And so this is about going into that thought of like, well, I'll just make it work. I'll make it happen. In the FAQ, I was, like I did a 300,000 celebration here a few weeks ago, earlier in the month, where people were asking me questions and they said, what was it that really inspired you to start your job? And how did you do that? Like when I left my corporate one and started doing what I'm doing, I just had an inner feeling like I had to. And then although there were lots of question marks, whenever you step into the unknown, there's lots of question marks. The thing that maybe it was blind naivete that kind of allowed me to do it, but I just thought, I'll make it work. I'll figure it out. And that's what the Ace of Wands is. And I'm always trying to think of new ways to do something. So think of new ways to do something and just in your head, think, I'll make it work. I'll figure it out. And sometimes that's more important than having everything spelled out. Okay. So now we have the Hanged Man here in the future. So this is the near future. And for many of you, this can indicate, the next couple of months, the next couple of weeks. It's kind of up to you how long you want to sit in this sort of Hanged Man. With the Hanged Man, however, it's to me very powerful. Like if you go to the mythology of it, Odin hung upside down so that he could gain the knowledge of the runes. There's a sacrifice. Sometimes it's just time and energy. Sometimes we go through something in our body and we have to recover from that injury. And in that recovery period, we're allowed to think, we're allowed to recalibrate. So if there's any sort of a perceived setback, it could be a recalibration period for you. Truly go through the recalibration before you jump into something new. So this is coming, but there's a little bit of a recalibration. Maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe there's a physical recalibration that has to happen. Whatever that is, you're recalibrating and you're going to be okay. All right. For some of you, there could also be this feeling of when should I do it? When it feels right. If you're still questioning, there's some things that you might need to sort of sort out to get to that absolute clarity. But soon is what I would say, because most of your cards here are in a very good, I would say for many of you, if you're delaying, it should be no more than a month. Everything should sort of be in a nice solid place, which squarely puts us at the new year. So I feel like whatever you're stuck on, you should be unstuck, or you should see movement and growth around that period of time. So between now and then, talk to people, connect with people, do some networking rather. And so maybe for some of you, it could be researching. I was going to say that. And then also recalibrating your opinion or what you're looking at. I think that's all going to be important. Okay. Now let's take a look at you, how you're feeling about yourself, what your soul is showing up as. We have the high priest, the emperor, but I like the word high priest better. And I like that we kind of see the antlers or the horns behind him as well. He's tuning in, and he's also really, really connecting to purpose. So for many of you right now, there's a chance to take charge, because this is the take charge card. But he's also, I like the fact that we actually put high priest on this, because it seems like a better card versus like like if you were coming from the high priestess, you should already have gathered that energy. So I want you to kind of combine intuition, power, and a sense of sort of like just being free with it, being confident, trusting. So I guess faith or hope. This is really what you need to get to the next level. Okay. But this is your chance to shine. We see the sun right above his head. And to me, this is also showing just the power of your ability to sort of like project out what you want, who you are. And maybe this is what you can work on in this period where you're sort of sitting in the hanged man, where you're waiting for something to happen. Really feel and even say the mantra, I am ready to receive, I am ready to accomplish. I'm ready to receive love and abundance in the highest forms is one that I will use often, but you can put anything that you would like in that. I'm ready to receive the good news. I'm ready for positive change to come into my life. I'm ready to take control. Whatever it is, I am ready, and then put in the blank, Mad Libs in a fun way, okay? And that's what we see there. Around you, I see a very strong, equally matched energy for you. We've got the Queen of Wands. So if you're looking for love, you found someone who is a cognitive, mental match for you and who probably is going to be more of a listener and more of a like they're going to show or demonstrate their love rather than say it. So I do like what you're kind of coupled up with here, but don't take silence for a lack of intelligence or for secrets. There are some people that just like to listen, and then they'll wait, and then you could ask them. You might have to ask someone around you, what are you thinking? What's on your mind? I'd like your opinion. Once you open the door, that person's going to talk a lot. I feel like there's someone's just waiting for you to connect with them. That does mean, because you have the Prince of Wands or Prince of Swords here at the center, that you may have to initiate conversations. As fun as it is for things to come to us in this particular month, I think you have to move toward whatever it is that you want. Knock on the door, pick up the phone, somehow connect, send the text, etc. So whether it's love, jobs, putting an offer out for a house or something like that, you have to be the person initiating that conversation, okay? As I said before, this is probably my favorite Queen card because it's one that can make anything happen. She's magical. We always see a feline energy. It looks like we have some sort of just a domestic cat beneath her, but usually, there's usually a black cat or something like that. Doesn't matter what cat, panther, cat, etc. What it shows me is smarter than you think. Don't underestimate the people around you. Don't underestimate your partner or your friend. There's this sort of hidden wisdom here, and also like support that you might be able to lean into. So if you're stuck, which you might be, have you ever noticed that just the act of talking to someone can make you feel unstuck because you unravel it in your head, especially when the person's a good listener and they don't talk over you? It's hard to find someone like that. But when you have that in your sort of surrounding or periphery, lean into that, because some of you have a really good mentor or friend and someone who can also say, well, what about this? They'll ask a question that helps you see it from an entirely different perspective, which can change everything, because some of you just aren't. You're looking at it here and you just need to kind of like focus here, okay? Let's look at what's in the possibility space for you. So there's only one thing holding you back. We have the Five of Pentacles here, and the Five of Pentacles is often this feeling of, well, what if they don't like me? Or why don't people accept me? Or I don't value myself, and then you kind of like pull things in. So self-confidence. I really want you to focus on your self-confidence. Turn that around. Maybe mom, maybe teacher, maybe friend said something to you that stuck with you, whether it's recent or in the deep past. It doesn't really matter. I would say the important thing for you is to understand that was probably an injured soul talking to you, and they didn't they didn't have the capacity to celebrate, see, or understand where you were. So instead, they pushed in a fear, or they pushed in a doubt, or they did something that hurt you. But that doesn't mean that you have to stay in that energy of pain. We have 2 5s at the end, and we'll talk. They have different energy. When we look in the background, it looks like we see like a hunting dog and a little rabbit. If you look in the fog in the background, right? Like a greyhound, maybe, and a little hare or rabbit. So things are happening fast. If you are busy mourning or worrying or living in the past, someone else is going to chase after the prize. And that's really what this is saying. Time is of the essence. Someone else is going to get that rabbit. So you should go after that. We're talking figuratively anyway. I'm a vegetarian, but you know what I'm saying here is, embrace the opportunity. The rabbit is like an ace of pentacles, and we're speaking figuratively here. So someone else is out there hunting, and it's going after an opportunity. The time is now. Again, I said there are 2 portals. I really think that you need to start some of the action in November and December, specifically in December, since that's when this reading is. Looking at the other 5, and thank you so much, by the way, to all of you that are giving back. I'll say thank you at the end, but I'm seeing the contributions. 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups always has a hidden partner in it, partnership card, the 2 of Cups. So let's imagine that somebody said no to you. Maybe it was a date invitation. Let's imagine one of these is a job interview that went awry. Let's imagine one of these is a credit thing that got declined. Okay, so there was a bunch of stuff you didn't like. Guess what? There's at least 1 or 2 really good things, but you've got to turn around. You've got to see it from a different perspective, because what we saw in this card is action, and life is moving on around you, and you're going to be a part of it. You're not going to get left behind. So all of these 5s always have a 2 in there. So there's balance in the imbalance, right? It's 3 and 2. So there's growth, there's opportunity, there's things that you didn't want or didn't like, but there's still something to embrace. And in the 5 of Cups, there's someone to embrace. There's someone who has your back. There's someone who believes in you. Start by believing in yourself, and you'll find that person faster. All right. 5 of Pentacles, by the way, also carries with it health connotations. We'll talk more about it in a moment, but I want to say it before I forget it. You always want to be focusing on your lower extremities, particularly hips, knees, and ankles. It's basically your legs that sometimes get taken for granted, and it's also circulation in your body. So focusing on good blood sort of circulation, but I would say also like blood pressure, blood sugar, and then blood clots, all of that stuff. You want to be mindful of that. Standard disclaimers apply when I look at all health stuff. You should go to a doctor if you're experiencing any problems, but circulation is something to pay attention to. All right, let's move on to the expanded forecast, and let's see all of these cards in a new light. Okay, starting with your health card. Harmony and resolution, essentially balance, also just feeling really good about things. I think that this is going to be so important. So let's put it this way. If you are in a period where that imbalance has set into your life, it's your divine right and responsibility right now to find the balance. If something is unresolved, feelings or something in your health or a project or whatever in your life, your emotional self is depending on a resolution. It's time to really embrace the judgment card. Know who you are, know what to do, surrender to that higher calling, and trust that you're being supported. We see a big angel here, basically. These are 2 wings here, right? So you are being supported and guided. Imagine that Gabriel's coming down from the sky, putting the horn aside and saying, I've got you. Are you listening? Here's where you need to go, because that's basically what this card is saying. Let's look more specifically at other health messages. I already went into great depth about the 5 of Pentacles, so those messages are still a part of this. If I were to pick another thing that I'm seeing here, it's about emotional happiness and well-being here. So we have the Princess of Cups in the deep past reversed. We have the 4 of Cups in the recent past, and then we have the 5 of Cups. These are okay. Like this card in and of itself would be fine, but when we're looking at it reversed plus the other 2 upright, what I'm seeing here is it feels like some of you, there's just like, it's sort of like frustration. And I think that around you, you may just be dealing with people that have a hard time sort of being positive, right? Or being proactive or embracing the possibilities. And so you have to shine even brighter during those periods of time. And you also have You don't need permission. You have my encouragement to separate yourself from people that can't kind of be in a higher energy. And that's sort of something that happens spiritually. As you go to a higher frequency, people around you either resonate with and kind of grow with you, or they stay where they're at. And then as you go higher, you'll call in other people that are in that sort of similar frequency. What you don't want to do is go lower or even lower to try to meet people at that lower level. You have to kind of shine brighter and hope that they kind of come up into that energy. And if not, it's okay. Maybe one day they will. But in the meantime, you've got a lot to focus on. And I feel like some of you are getting dragged down energetically just a little bit. Okay. One good news, though, that I can see with all of this is your brain is coming through really strong here with the Ace of Wands. Do whatever you can to take those sparks of intuition, and that's really what this is, a spark of intuition or insight, and run with it. Don't let the emotions or the stagnation in your life kind of hold you down or hold you back. Okay. So really what we're looking at more here is emotional health and a little bit with, the blood and the legs, but otherwise it's mostly like emotional health and relationship harmony. And that's why we got harmony there. Okay. It's not always a physical issue with these cards. A lot of times it's stuff that makes us feel a certain way. Let's look at wealth. Love this. This is very much connected with the Caribou / Reindeer that I was talking about earlier. So we have gliding through the currents, and now I need my glasses because this is way too small. It says, with a different approach, you will be able to glide through a situation with grace and ease. Going inward and bringing your understanding, perspective, or behavior into the flow will help your dreams take flight. Love the message, but I really like that it's unafraid. So the answer to the moon is always to go into that water, to look into the depths and figure out what it is that you need to deal with. And so you're able to kind of fly through that tricky time and do it with aplomb, do it with skill and grace. So the reindeer do that so that they can see what's coming. If you feel like something's happening, go toward that action, not away from it. I recently had a really frustrating interaction with someone who wouldn't pick up the phone. I'm sure we've all experienced this. Most of us experience it with like technical support, or if you're trying to call and get someone who's, just supposed to follow up on something and they're not going to do it. This person would text me, but they wouldn't pick up the phone. So we had to text all day. And I said, could we please talk on the phone? And they wouldn't. So, but I didn't relent. And there was progress made. But I couldn't get them to pick up the phone, no matter how sort of like kind you are or intuitive you are or whatever. There are some people that are a brick block, right? But you still have to move toward that and resolve it, and then also get to the bottom of the issue. Get to why they're not talking to you, and then address that and then move on. Like I was talking about with the brick. If you are in a situation and you go to the source, you go to the thing, and there's still no energy of sort of like, I want to work with you, then this is your time to go in another direction. You're not stuck in one direction, okay? And that's one of the main things here. You can also, when we look at gliding through the currents on this, like I said, you can move through this, and just like I just didn't have time to look at this, but one of the other things that came to me this morning, and I might do it tomorrow for Scorpio, but it was a snake for you. So, because I like, snakes are powerful, but they're also really flexible. So you have to kind of like a fish or a snake be able, or an eel, just be able to kind of move through this. All right. It's not going to be as straightforward or as logical as you want it to be. Sometimes your logic, another person's thinking from an emotional point of view, and you're so logical that it's kind of like stifling. So you'll have to find a different way. All right. Let's look specifically at the health cards here. I want to see a little bit more than the 5 of Pentacles for you. This can often be limiting, like I said, because either you feel fear of someone saying, oh, I would never, like if it's a job, they wouldn't hire you, or if it's a rate and you're a freelancer, you're not worth that, or if it's a relationship and you're offering your hand, I don't want you. No, I want you to kind of flip it around and think, what if they say yes? What if this is exactly the right person, the right time, and they see all that I have to offer? How exciting would that be? So start to put yourself out there in the what if, because like I said, when we look at the cups, it's a lot easier. Yeah, 3 people may say no, but 2 say yes. And what if these are the 2 best offers? So don't limit yourself and don't let a few rejections get in your way. As someone who's I've written a book, like when I initially was deciding, should I go toward an agent or do it on my own? The agent path is it's not fun. Whether you're an actor or a writer or a painter or whatever, or a musician, trying to find someone, a label or someone to kind of like take care of you. Sometimes it's not worth it. I think nowadays we can do a lot ourselves, but the rejection didn't stop me. But I decided at a certain point, like the wall, you don't have to take the rejection anymore. There's other ways, there's other paths. So realize there always is a path, there always is a way. You just have to find it, okay? Career-wise. And if you're stuck, it's a glass ceiling, it's not a real ceiling. So you can get past that. Other messages with your wealth or what's going on here. First of all, talk to people about it. Whatever your career, wealth, or money situation is, I think if families talked more openly about money, like what their plans are for retirement, how they're doing, what they're making, it would demystify it and it would empower children and future generations to have a healthier relationship with money. So talk to other people about what they're doing with their money, how they've dealt with debt, how they've dealt with investments or surplus of money, because it can go either way. So your best resource is the people around you. Of course, then you can also talk to a planner, financial guide or a wealth manager or something like that. But openly talk about money. It's important. I know that sounds crazy, but if we all were more open about that, it would be better and healthier. And specifically at work too, if we can kind of find out what people are making or talk to the boss, say, well, where do I fall in this sort of realm of things? And, or I've done research and this is sort of lower than it should be. So what can we do to get it to the next level? What are you expecting from me? Open up the dialogue around money. That's the most important thing that I can see. Some of you are stuck. And like I said, there's breakthroughs or opportunities. It will be word of mouth or from a friend for those of you that are still working or, maybe just graduating and looking for work. Then there's a chance now to find something by talking to someone. So word of mouth, that's actually how I found two of my best jobs. It was just through someone saying, hey, I know who to call, or I'll walk your resume over. And without that, sometimes it's hard to get in, okay? Good. You can change, you can glide through this change. We want to negotiate for more. The Five of Pentacles is not quite enough. It's a limited card, and it's limited because of fear or of past experiences, but not because of present issues. Let's look now at love and relationships. We have the canary spirit, and it says, sing your own song. Cute little bird. I love that there's a crown on it. But let's talk about this in a different light for relationships. So I look at this sometimes also as the canary in the mine. So back, I guess in the past, they used to use a canary in a coal mine, right? To kind of see if there's a problem with oxygen, something like that. But sometimes the canaries would be the first ones to indicate, hey, we better get out. So there's warning signs coming through in key relationships in your life. It doesn't have to be your marriage. This could be a work relationship. This could be a friendship. You may be the one that senses it first, because to me, the canary is a sign of being sensitive. Don't be the canary in the mine. Don't wait until it's too late, because at that point, the canary's gone. So we don't want to be that sort of sacrificial canary, but you do want to pick up on I smell something or sense something, something's not right, and then move with that intuition. So you know what to talk about, and that's important. The other piece I love here, and this is so important for any air sign, but especially Libra, but it says sing your own song, right? So if somebody tries to stifle, adjust, or rephrase what you're saying, say that's not what I said, or that's not who I am. This is who I am. So you really want to use your voice in relationships this month. It's going to be so important, and make it authentic. Make sure that people aren't trying to sort of use you as a puppet, right? Let's talk a little bit about now the three different aspects that I usually look at with relationships. If you're in a relationship looking for love, or if you're single and happy. So I'll pull the camera down for this because it's a lot of looking at the cards here. So for those of you that are in a relationship, the first thing that I see is that there's a chance to rekindle. The Kiss card is a very positive card, and this was our catalyst. And then you put the catalyst with this, it's re-sparking. Actually, not just that, but also this, which is physically connecting. So we have the kiss, offering something. We have a celebration, an intimate sort of connection, re-sparking that connection with you and the one that you love. And then spending some time with that person, maybe alone with them. So one of the first thing that I can see here is that some of you have just been maybe unable to spend time with someone because you're working too much, maybe unable because the two of you have just wanted to be in your own separate worlds. Because when we look at what's going on here, we have the Four of Cups, someone preoccupied, we have the Hangman, someone feeling stuck or alone. And so you have to talk. Communication is in the center of all of these. There's still love in these cards here. Now, if you don't do that, we see the Three of Cups, which could mean that you decide to talk to someone else. The third party could be a therapist, a friend. For some of you, there could be a third party involved. And when this happens, you absolutely have to have a conversation. So the third party, like I said, it could be a relative trying to get in between you and someone because they don't like your choice in partners. It could also be someone that tries to make a pass at you or your partner. Whatever's going on, I think that you're going to be okay. The most important thing is communication. All right. So if communication fails and if people then lean on other people, then that's something that you'll have to deal with. But I don't see this as something that you can't solve. I really see it as a chance for you to connect and have some fun together. I think the most important thing for you is to take the leadership role in that situation, to make sure that you listen and that the other person listens as well, and to work through this. There's just some hurt feelings, but there's nothing here catastrophic. Okay. So for those of you in a relationship, have some fun. Date night. This is really what this is, date night. So have some fun, relax a little bit, and get to know the person. If you're just feeling stuck and there's a complete stagnation, the other party won't budge. There does come a point where you have to think, how much more am I going to stick around for this? So if you don't get any sort of reciprocative energy from the other person, then without that reciprocity, it's important for you to move forward, because life is moving on. And if that person isn't moving with you, then they're holding you back. For those of you that are looking for love right now, I would say it's really good, actually. There's a couple of different opportunities here. First of all, some of you are just a little bit reluctant with the Hangman and the Three of Swords to sort of like put yourself out there. So don't be afraid to do that, because we see, again, that sort of reciprocity coming through with the Prince of Swords and the Ace of Wands. I think someone's going to be interested in talking to you. The only thing that I see right now that you want to really focus on is self-worth, because if you are not feeling good about yourself, when that person meets you, they're going to pick up on the fact that you seem a little shy, a little uncertain, a little bit standoffish. So you want to be loving yourself and celebrating yourself enough to really embrace what's coming through, not to kind of hold yourself back. And if somebody likes you, don't doubt, like, is there something wrong with them? Maybe there's something right with you. So for those of you that have had bad experiences in the past, I see reason and cause to celebrate. And again, I see someone who is probably an intellectual match for you. You might need to clean up your finances. I've kind of glossed over that a bit, but the Five of Pentacles can be a financial debt or issue that needs to be dealt with. So clean up the finances. That actually will help you across the board. All right. If you're single and happy right now, I would love for you to really focus on getting out there a little bit, because this is a card of hesitation, the Hanged Man. So what we see here is still a chance to network and do something really positive with this time, to develop and to really work on a project or an endeavor, and to take it to the next level, and to be as open as you can with like what you can do in this amount of time. And if somebody offers you something and it's good and you feel good about it, you know, that is a blessing. There is some sort of like, this kiss can just be, you know, the kiss of fate as well, something really positive coming in your sort of path right now. So I think some of you are also just feeling, I'm not ready for something right now. So if you're not ready, the universe is listening to you, but I still think there's opportunities with friendship and work, and it's a really strong month for you overall. Okay. Let's move on to your final card, which is not your final card here, but your outcome card, which represents destiny. Destiny is something you're writing. We have the Tiger card, which is showing the ability to go after what you want. It's one of the feline hunters. It's really fast, and it's a force to be reckoned with. We see the moon on its third eye, a mark of the high priestess. And for many of you, this is really just a chance to decide, am I ready? Why am I not kind of moving forward? And to kind of like kindle that fire, right? So I think that you need to kind of, I also think of a tiger and I think of it's kind of like going to pounce on something. So I think there's something that is out there that is really waiting for you to reach out and seize it. Say, yes, I'll take it. Yes, I'm ready. So don't let that slip through your hands. I really do feel like there's something beautiful on the horizon to embrace. So we don't want to let this card hold you back or hold you down. Okay, let's go ahead and pull one more card for the big idea. What's the big thing that you can be focusing on for December, for the next 6 to 8 weeks? Okay, we have the Lady, the Empress card in reverse. So this would kind of like connect with the Caribou, the female Caribou that I was talking about, where they kind of hold on to something until they're ready to let it go, birthing something, for instance. So with this card in reverse, it does feel like it's overdue. It's time to go after it, to release it. The other thing with this is you have to take the initiative. We've gotten a few cards here. We have the High Priest, which actually, by the way, is the Hierophant. So the Hierophant card, which is a leader card, which would be someone for, like, basically this, people are already looking at you as the leader. All right. So the High Priest is the leader, and the Empress card is saying, hey, I have the ability to also foster and create. So you're really kind of positioned right now to be a strong leader, to be a creator, and to be someone that people look up to, but only if you embrace that. So in a typical Hierophant card, you would see a couple of disciples here, kind of like waiting and hoping and ready to sort of receive the offering from you. So there are people that are waiting and hoping and ready to connect with you, but you have to be open to that. So don't limit yourself as one of the big ideas this month. The other things that I see here on the cards here are to say yes to an opportunity, to RSVP yes to some sort of an invitation, to go with an idea and see it to fruition. And I really think the wait is over for you if you're ready to move on. Okay, let's take a look now at some other things that are coming through in the cards. The next thing that I want to look at for you are blessings and blocks. So blessings. Let's look at what the universe wants to bring for your benefit. There's always a blessing in every situation, everything, and even in every month when feels like everything's going wrong, there's always something to look at from gratitude, basically. So this is your opportunity for gratitude. Movement. 6 of Swords here. The card is reversed, but it's a really positive card. So for many of you, you know it's time. You know that there is this sort of like unavoidable shift or movement, but now that it's happening, there may be a little bit of fear around it, but it is for the better. Whatever is being moved out, moved in, or transitioning one way or another, it's all for the best. This includes those of you that may have had to leave a job, whether it was within your own volition or whether someone asked you to leave. It's okay. So movement is good, it's key, and it is the blessing. Because without it would be stagnation. That is the elixir card, the sort of like the healing salve for the hanged man. It's this chance to move on. So don't be afraid to move on. Remember what I said earlier with the Caribou. Whatever you let go of, you'll get equal to or greater than, more greater than in the next year, because they grow antlers that are larger each year. So the loss is not as big as it seems. The gain will far surpass the loss. And that's what the universe is bringing through with that card. All right, let's take a look at the block. Not maybe our favorite thing to look at, but a very important thing. So this could be the perceived block, but it might also show the solution for that perceived block. Okay. I love these cards, but they are way too big to shuffle. So thank you for being patient. Okay. We have the Sun card in reverse. So the Sun card is always a good sort of energy. Hey, Paul. The Sun card is a great card. And it basically reminds us of the importance of embracing a new opportunity, not taking ourselves too seriously. The upright version would be just having fun, going for it, really kind of connecting on a charismatic level with others. But the reverse card is ego. So I would say the number one block for you this month is your ego or others' egos. So someone may be perhaps intimidated by you or jealous of you and their ego could get in the way of allowing for your good advice, your good feedback, your actions to be rewarded or embraced. And conversely, or on the flip side of it, your own ego may get in the way of listening to someone who knows what to do. And we've all been there on some level. So you don't have to say that the person's right, but you can follow their advice and then thank them later. The most important thing is to do what's going to help you break through. All right. You still have a breakthrough and you still have something really good. The Sun card is great. Just like the Star card in reverse, it's a revealing sort of energy, and it's saying, you know what to do. And the sooner you embrace it, the bigger you're going to shine, you know? So what a great card to come through in the block. You can deal with egos. You can transition around that, and you can smile. You can kind of like use your charm, because there is charm within the Sun card. All right, let's take a look now at some things that might be of interest to you. I'm going to put out some viewers' choice questions that you can look at. I'll pick some difficult ones and I'll pick some easy ones here. So let me take a look now. We're going to do a viewer's choice. So I'm going to do it, and then I will do a reader's choice after that. So viewer's choice. As I'm looking at the cards here, there's a few things that I want to look at. I want to look at the Hanged Man. So I want to see what it is that can kind of inspire you to break free of that stagnation. So what I'm going to do is like how to break through. How to break through. I'll just put the Hanged Man because we know what we're talking about. So how to get out of that. All right. So the next thing that I'm looking at in these cards that I think would be worth exploring for you is the Three of Cups. I'm going to say, what do other people have to bring to the equation? So Three of Cups, what opportunities? And I'm going to have to rephrase it. I'll just say opportunities, because they limit the words here. All right, and the last one here, I'm looking at harmony and resolution. So how to achieve harmony and resolution. Put harmony again. All right, so there you go. You can vote on these while I decide on another topic. So anybody that's watching live, it'll appear in the upper corner, and you have to be looking at it on a mobile device or on your desktop to be able to vote. For the rest of you, while we're waiting, let's see. You know what? It's so important, and I'm glad that this is the one that I get to choose. I want to look at your voice. So the canary card that came through that said sing your own song, I want to find out how we can make sure that you maintain your voice. How can you get your message out there? How can you amplify it? Okay? Very interesting. Okay, so we have the Seven of Wands in reverse. Let's pull this card upright so you can see it. So don't get defensive. It seems sort of contradictory to say this, but if you have something wise to say, if you've done your work, if it's the right thing, you can restate it. You can repeat it, because oftentimes people don't get it the first time. But if you go toward aggression, bullying, pushing, forcing, or somehow kind of like just taking the energy and lowering it, and again, we're all guilty of that from time to time, it's not going to work. Then you kind of start a war that doesn't need to be a war. What you can do instead is try to find the common interest. So you could say, if you do this, it will benefit everyone. If you don't, this is how it hurts everyone. If you do this, this is how others will look at you. If you don't, this is the complications that you will probably have to clean up and deal with. Make a really good case for your point of view and do it in a way that is digestible. So instead of getting angry, instead of getting even, instead of getting aggressive, state your case. No defensiveness. Seven of Wands, you can see him sort of trying to hold back as these soldiers are coming up the hill. You don't have to fight. You just have to put it out there. And then somebody's interested in your point of view. And if it's not this person, someone else will be. Okay? So don't worry if you guys didn't have a chance to vote. We have a clear winner right now. And you can do a little research later. It's always going to appear in the corner. So we'll talk more about that later, but we have a winner right now. So let me put my glasses on and we'll take a look at it. And let's see what we've got here. So by a really large margin, it was how to break through on the Hanged Man. So what a good question. That's probably the one I would have chosen too. So we have the Hanged Man in the near future. It's not your outcome. It's just kind of like the block. So how do you get through it? Some of it we talked about there if it's a communication block, but let's see what else might be coming through for you. It's good to see so many people today. Welcome. I'm glad to have a full room today. All right, so Hanged Man, what can we do about you? Okay, this is good actually. So we have the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is the quintessential daydreamer, right? Always has the capacity to look at something from another point of view, to come up with a different angle at something. The irony in a lot of these, like the Four of Cups and the Seven of Cups card here, is we see that the solution's closer than you think. So if you're stuck, some of you are overthinking. I love a Seven of Cups card when it comes time to like brainstorm, start something new, right? Because that's when you put everything up on the board. You're like, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. We'll look through, we'll kind of explore it. But if you've received an intuitive download, a gut instinct, like, I think I want to do this, but then your head starts to go through all this other stuff. Well, what if they say this? What if that doesn't work out? How am I going to do this? Oh my God. You start to kind of like build it up in your head. This can be, the answer to that is to stop thinking and to grab that idea and run with it. If you're feeling stuck and you're daydreaming, what are you daydreaming about? What is the dream? So if you are at a job that you hate or in a relationship that's not working and you're looking around and you think, that's what I want. Good. You know what you want. What are you going to do about it? If you are at a standstill and you don't know what's next, then I want you to start the process of the brainstorming, of the daydreaming, and think to yourself, when was the last time I was truly happy? What was I doing when I was truly happy? Why am I not doing that again? How could I create something like that in my life? So I can't always tell you what it is, but I can tell you how to get there. And I can tell you that part of that is going to involve some reflection. That's what I do like about this. Sometimes we see the cups in the air, which kind of never really made sense to me. So this illustration makes a lot more sense. It's daydreaming, it's reflecting, and looking at it from a different sort of angle. A lot of times when we do meditations, I'll have you look in a pool of water. But the interesting thing is, the pool is warped a little bit. It's like putting on my glasses. It bends things. So realize that in real life, it could be easier than you think. There could be more challenges too, but let's look at the positive side. It could be easier. So I want you just to take something and run with it. And if you don't know what to do, then think about what your happiest point was, what you're most intrigued about, and why you're not kind of pulling more of that into your life. Okay. And so somebody is saying, like, you felt like nobody understands you. Well, you're in good company. Like, I feel like when we are truly walking our path, sometimes you're ahead of the curve. And I often use the example of fashion and even technology. Like, a lot of the couture stuff that you will see in Paris runways or Milan runways, it looks to the untrained eye as like ridiculous or outlandish, but then it finds itself like on the shelves of our local department stores, 1 or 2 years later, and it's everywhere. So fashion is often forward thinking. Technology, like when the iPhone came out, people thought, oh, no keyboard, it'll never take off. BlackBerry no longer exists, right? So what seems weird initially ends up being very much the leader. So if you're not feeling like you're fitting in, you must be doing something right. Okay. That's my little message for you. Okay. So let's go ahead now and move on to the next portion. I just want to make sure we covered everything, which we did. So there's 2 parts that are left. We're going to meditate, and then we're going to look at a final card. The final card is a chance for you to meditate silently and ask me a question. So if I didn't cover something about career, about life purpose, about relationships, scribble it down or tap it into your phone so you don't forget it. And then let's meditate, and I'll answer that afterwards. Prior to meditation, just a couple of quick notes. First of all, thank you to everybody that's been, we got a bunch of new channel members. I just want to say welcome to all of you. And for those of you that gave back, I will say thanks at the end, and I'll say your name at the very end. I just don't like to interrupt the flow. But if you want to join and become a member, you can do that by clicking right here. And if you want to just show a little bit of support that doesn't involve anything but a mouse click, please hit like and subscribe. The like button is the thumbs up, which is right around the title, and subscribe for new members, of course, only. This will be a chance for you to join in and make sure that you get some notifications if you'd like to when I post new videos. If you missed anything, this will be available on replay, and I also post the handwritten cards on social media, usually by the next day. Also on replay, there's a special way to give back, which is a super thanks, and it's right by the share button. Okay, let's get into the meditation. Let me scan the cards here for a second. I actually want to do an aquatic one. I don't know the last time we did it as like a fish or something underwater, but I'm really inspired through this gliding through the currents. Okay, if you are afraid of water, you could just imagine it's a pond or something like that. And you could just imagine that your feet are in it or something like that. But for the sake of the meditation, let's assume that nobody's afraid of water, or it can be shallow water. But let's imagine that you're the fish of your choosing. I don't care what you are. Before I do that, or while I'm kind of setting the scene here, I'll let you vote on which instrument you'd like me to use. I have two, a singing bowl and a pyramid. So we'll do singing bowl and crystal pyramid. So you can vote on that, and by the time we get to the meditation, I'll choose whatever is the highest. All right, so close your eyes. Let's take a deep breath together first. Letting go of any fear or frustration or any heavier thoughts that you might have been carrying with you throughout today or the day before. You're letting it go now. Imagine now that you have the ability to dive into the water and transform into whatever you'd like to be. So if you want to be a whale, if you want to be a shark, if you want to be a koi fish, I don't care. See whatever it is that you want to be. And as you dive into the water, imagine that you are becoming that aquatic creature. It can even be something mythological, I don't care. Just see yourself transforming into something that can breathe underwater. And I want you to feel the lightness of being. If any of you have been in a pool, you felt this before. The weight that you carry is not, that's why you can do like rehabilitation and things like that in the water. You feel lighter, your energy feels lighter. So even if you're just kind of floating in a shallow pool, there's this sense right now that my troubles, my actual physical weight, it's gone. I just feel this ability now to be higher and brighter and lighter. And as you start to go a little bit deeper into the water, you can feel the energy of the ocean moving you this way or that way. We talked earlier about caribou and their ability to kind of like walk into the wind so that they could sense where the next opportunity or meal would be. Imagine maybe now that you decide to go against the current a little bit, and you're going to push toward something that you really, really want in your life. Sometimes it's a little bit harder. Sometimes the current changes and it might direct you in a new place. I want you to see that. Imagine that it's maybe like a treasure chest shining on the ocean floor, or maybe like a beautiful coral reef and you're going toward that. Whatever this future opportunity is, I want you to feel now that you can go in any direction. You can handle anything that the water sends your way, and that you're going to do it with ease and with grace. And that you just feel good. It feels right wherever you're headed. Okay? So relax and imagine that you're going to get closer and closer to your destination with each breath that you take. And as you do that, I'm going to play the crystal pyramid and allow you to just kind of relax and go away just for a little bit. Remembering now to, even though you're underwater, to breathe, imagining that although it's your earthly lungs, this could be your gills. I want you to really focus on bringing in as much oxygen as you can to make this path easier for you. Imagine now that you can see the beautiful sunlight starting to ripple through the water, watching as it kind of shines like a diamond. Allow yourself to connect with one of those rays of sunshine. And allow yourself also to travel through that beam of light back toward your earthly body. Realizing that that light is connected to your heart. And as you reconnect with your earthly body, I want you to take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, feeling the sense that I am brighter, I am lighter, I can handle anything that comes my way. Imagining that your heart actually is containing a diamond now. You've created a crystal clear energy, clearing out the wounds of the past, the fear from the past, replacing it with the energy of I am capable, I am ready, I am creating, recreating, and also recreating, all of the above. You're in that sort of energy of having fun with whatever the universe throws your way. Okay. Rub your hands together. Seal in that diamond energy on your heart space. And let's focus now on the final question that you have for me. The way that this works is you don't have to type or say anything. Just look at what you wrote or think into your head whatever the question is that you have. I'm going to shuffle the cards a couple of times and I'll give you an answer. I'll do my best to look at it as, if it's possible, as a yes, no. It's not always that sort of like binary. And then I'll go a little deeper into it as well. Okay. Well, this is you for sure, Libra. And it's permission to say no. So this is gonna like, it messes with your mind, but it's yes, you can say no. But if it's a yes, no that you were looking for, Justice Reversed is one of the very clear no cards in tarot. So it's saying, don't do it, or no, or that's not the best way. But because it's you, it tells me that you'll find a way. So if you have to step away from something, it's good. If you have to say no to something, it's good. If you wanted something, but the card said no, it's telling you there's something better. And it wants you to focus instead on finding your balance, your power, listening to yourself. This is you personified. So you matter, like I said earlier. And kind of interesting here, as I looked at it on the monitor there. So there's a little spider by this Justice card. And so for some of you, you're finally kind of like cutting yourself free of the connections or the sort of like the box or the entrapment or the web that someone else had put you in. So you're freeing yourself. And I sort of see this as a very liberating card. I like the spider as a totem. Whenever the spider comes through, to me, if you are the spider, you embody the ability to create also regenerative energy with that too. So spiders will oftentimes like snip broken parts of their web or sometimes spin a new one if they have to each day. So whatever you've lost, you can recreate. It's magnetic. It's an attractive energy, just like the lovers. So use your attractive energy to call in something better, to do better, to go for it. So it does feel like there's a necessary no or movement, letting go of something. All of that would be part of this. Rectifying that something's something that is wrong. When I had that person in my life that was not doing their job, I pulled a card. I said, are they going to do it? And I got no. I got Justice Reversed. So I realized I was dealing with someone who may not have the same moral compass that I do, and they just didn't want to follow the rules. So if you have anyone in your life that's like that, you have to be the one that shows them why it's wrong, and have like, sometimes you can show it from their perspective, or you just move on. If someone says no and consistently doesn't support you, you deserve a yes. So go where there is a yes, not where there's this sort of no. But it is a no, and it is an encouragement to say no, and it is an encouragement to move on, and it is an encouragement to do what's right for you. Okay? But because it's justice and because it has the scales, this will create the necessary balance. This was the little, like the hair that broke the camel's back. It's that sort of the straw that broke the camel's back. This is where it's sort of like, enough is enough, and now I know what I want. Okay? So you deserve that balance. You deserve that peace, and I look forward to it for you. Okay? So let me just kind of wrap up here with a couple of final notes, and then we'll thank everybody. So again, if you would like to become a channel member or show support, you can still do that, and I will still say thank you at the end. You can do that by clicking right here. Otherwise, please hit the thumbs up. It looks like we have a decent ratio, almost half. So thumbs up costs nothing, helps a lot. So unless you can't find it on the screen, please do it. It really does help. And then feel free to join me later if you'd like to on social media. You can find all of that in my pinned comment above. And hopefully that helps you out. And finally, again, on replay, you can show thanks. Okay, let me give you the schedule for the upcoming readings. I'm going to be doing Scorpio tomorrow and then another live reading this weekend. But here we go. Here's the schedule for everything that's coming up. Up next week, I will be also reading. So again, we're going to do Scorpio on Friday, a collective on Sunday, and then we'll do Sag, Cap, and Aquarius next week. So there's the schedule, and you can take a look at all of that. And now I'd just like to spend a little bit of time saying thanks to those that gave back. So give me just a moment here. I'd like to welcome the new members. I know we had a few that joined today. So let me say thanks to anybody that's brand new. Okay, so it looks like, I hope this is everything. Let me just do a quick refresh to make sure that I got the ones that joined today, because I saw a few new ones. There we go. Here's the new ones. Okay, so actually we had a few, quite a few, so thank you so much. All right, so it looks like Helen Mitchell, Angela Miller, let's see, I can't say your name, Anuradha, I think it is something like that. I'm so sorry, I can't say it, but thank you and welcome. Marine Mary and Alan, I appreciate all of you. Anuradha, I think it's something like that. Anyway, thank you very much. Sorry, difficult name for me. I also want to welcome all of the folks that gave back a little bit here with a super sticker or super chat today. We have a very short list, so I should be able to get through this pretty quickly. So let me just do a refresh on this one as well, just to make sure I got everybody. All right, one more time. Here we go. Good. Yes, I got everybody. All right, so special thanks to Ria Coleman, Your Best Life, Jordan Gloss. Very special thanks to Jacob for that $50. Thank you so much. That really helps. Barb Merrill, Danielle Gamble, Allison Chambers, Fab OG42, and Wendy Wright. I appreciate all of you, and I thank you so much for making this a great reading with me today. All right, lots of love and light. Sorry if I couldn't pronounce all of those names earlier, but I see you, I appreciate you, and I hope to see some of you on Friday and also on Sunday. In the meantime, you have a good month ahead of you. Really, most of the cards today are very, very positive, and this is telling me that you've made a decision. No is still a powerful decision, or I don't want this, or I really now know what I do want. And that's such a blessing. And I feel like a lot of you have finally gotten the clarity of what you want and what you don't want. So embrace it and do something powerful with that. Okay. Lots of love to my Libra tribe. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, Maria Margarita, for your help in moderating today. Have a great day and a great weekend ahead. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. I think tomorrow's a full moon too. I got to look at the moon phases. So I'll cover that too. If you want to join in at the beginning, we'll do something with the moon, probably in the channel messages and the meditation. So anyway, take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.